Good evening, boys and girls. We made it to the end of another week. I don't know about you, but I am a little bit exhausted, tired. But you know what? He's back, and that means energy. That means making sure you've come prepared and armed to talk the Arsenal. It's going to be a good distraction tonight. Let's go! Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. Indeed, Tybe, Super Kevin Campbell is back, my podcast brother from another mother.
Squaddies, Sophie, great to be back. Addies, as Kev says, Funky Friday. Let's do it.
We have missed you something awful, Super Kev. Can I just...
I'm sorry, Sophie, about yesterday. Obviously, something came up at Goodison, which needed my attention. And can I just say, Sophie, what an absolute credit to football Boreham Wood were last night.
I mean, seriously, honestly, right?
Absolute credit.
I mean, they gave Everton a tough time. Of course, they beat Bournemouth. They beat Wimbledon as well. There's these teams every year that give us that vibe, Kev, and the magic of the FA Cup. Of course, in the end, Everton's quality kind of shone through. Even though it wasn't a great game for Everton, they still won, and they're in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. But it's just beautiful to watch, isn't it? In the world that we're living in, where all of, the power and the money and everything, and then you've got Boreham Wood, just doing their thing. It's just so good to see.
And we bumped into a friend of the show, Alan Alga, and his son.
I love that picture of you and his son.
Yeah. So bumped into them after the game. Obviously, big Boreham Wood fans and stuff like that. So, listen, the Boreham Wood story goes on because they've got an opportunity to get into the Football League, to get out of the National League. So what a great opportunity for them. They've played against some really good teams, some quality. So that should put them in good stead. Now, kick on, boys.
Definitely.
Wish them all the best.
And you know what I love about Al, Kev, is that even though he's got this big job and, he works and does a lot of stuff for the Arsenal, of course, but West Ham, because of the sponsors and everything, his love for Boreham Wood is strong. And he goes to the games and he supports them. And it's just really cool to see. He was raving about it because, of course, I follow him on his social media and stuff. It made his night when you and Ian Wright took pictures with his son.
His son, yeah, Righty. It was before the game, I think it was.
Yes, it was.
Into Righty, and I bumped into them after the game, which was great to see. Great to see him and his son.
Yeah.
And, they were, even though Bromwood lost, they still were buzzing.
I mean, they held on for as long as they could, Kev. And the goalkeeper got beaten on his inside post, that first goal. But
I mean, this is the crazy thing, right, Sophie? It's the little things, isn't it? The little mistake here. He made some really good saves, but the little mistake. Defender got done with Rondon getting in front, and then he took the early shot. So he just surprised him, maybe, but well done to them. They were magnificent.
And to be fair, Rondon did really well in that game. He's been under fire, Kev. He's been ridiculed a lot, and he was the man that stepped up. The header was great, the way he got up for that header and smashed it in. And by the way, you smashed it on the TalkSport commentary there. I had the TV screen on, and then I had my Super Kev in my ear. Boom!
That's what my mate Sives, a big ever told you. That's what he done. He said, I don't listen to them. I'm listening to TalkSport. He said he loved it. So no, I really enjoyed it. The TalkSport crew were really good.
Really
Danny
cool.
And Nigel and the guys. Lovely guys.
Really cool, Kev. By the way, if you can hear tears in the background, it is because, let me explain something. I am so happy about this, by the way, Kev. Vespa is obsessed with football. She has so many little soccer balls, Kev. And I'm not being funny. She's really good. Like, we play, and I try to do my mad skills, and she is so engaged
on it.
on it. The way she follows the ball, tackles, catches. I mean, she did a flick in the air yesterday and caught it. And I was like kind of embarrassed with myself for not, getting into that moment. So she's crying now because I can't play soccer with her. All day long, all she wants to do is play soccer. Can I just say, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. I think it's your influence.
Hey, wait, don't blame me. Listen, you've got the Arsenal top on. You've got the Arsenal. Listen, I expect nothing less from Vespa. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I expect nothing less.
Absolutely. I've got the old 70... The 71, Kev. I love the back of this one. It's got the old...
Yeah, the cannon and lovely.
The blue and yellow, Kev. You can't beat it. You can't beat it, can you?
Superb.
Can't beat it. Right, let's get stuck into stuff, shall we? Good evening, everyone. Those of you listening on replay, be sure to put your comments in the chat as well.
And hit the like button.
That's right. Super Kev's going to be dealing with you tonight. I am officially a soccer mum. Thank you. I do coach a little AYSO soccer when I can. I love it too. You know what? She could play up front. There's no doubt about it. This is
very quick and nippy.
She is very quick and nippy. Let's see. What else do we have in the chat box tonight? She can go to the Vespa Guard. Kevin Curtis is... Oh, apparently you schooled Curtis the other day. Got a lot of notes about that, Kev, from the squaddies. Apparently you kind of did a bit of a... Apparently you may have done a little bit of this.
Curtis shock. Thank you. No, we had a really good stream, folks, to be honest. But you know that on here we always talk about trying to bring everyone together. Mm-hmm. So I asked Curtis about Aubameyang going and having a go at the manager and the football club on the way when he went to Barcelona, and he said no, that's separate. I said what? I said how is that? Well, you can imagine what I started to do, because from when people fire bullets from outside, how is the manager and the football club separate? How are the players and the club separate? They're not. Mm-hmm. We're all in it together. And for some reason, he weren't having it, but the chat box weren't having what he was saying. So they were coming for him, but it was good. It was good.
Oh, man, it was. If you missed that show, go to Curtis's channel and check it out. It was very entertaining, to say the least. Right, one more thing before we kick off tonight. Big news in sports, and you know how we like to acknowledge all the greats. And there's no doubt that this fella was an absolute great in cricket. I'm not even a cricket fan, but I used to watch when he played. He brought a little rock and roll to cricket, Kev. I'm not sure if you ever met Shane Warne in your time during...
I have actually, so far. I met him a couple of times. An absolute character, really, really lovely fella. And to hear the tragic news today, I could only say, deepest condolences to his family and friends. It's he's my age, so he's 52 years old, and to just...
It's just shocking, isn't it,
just
Kev?
go like that, and Rod Marsh as well. Martin, you're right, it's really sad, so really sad time. I really feel for the families and the loved ones, because these people were such big characters. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they were real prominent in the family, prominent people in the family. So to lose them like this, mm-hmm. It's going to be painful.
And the ironic thing, Kev, is that 15... now probably 17 or 18 hours ago, Shane had posted about how sad he was regarding Rodney Marsh. Yeah. And life is so strange. And you tell everyone all the time, Kev.
Tell your loved ones. Tell your loved ones you love them. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Don't carry and think, you're, I'll do it next week. Do it today. I'm telling you, because you just don't know what is around the corner.
Here's the great thing, Kev, that he left an indelible mark on his sport. He crossed over. There's not a lot of sports people in sports, especially that aren't as popular as the beautiful game, that they cross over and they become part of popular culture as well. And Shane Warne, because of his style, the way he played, his character, someone just said he lived life to the full. You know, he definitely was one of those. So I'm happy to. And in your interactions with him, he was fun and engaging. And
yeah, he was real good fun, great laugh, you know, and always smiling. So, you know, characters like that, I love being around them, positive people. So, you know, it's just tragic news, Sophie. Really sad.
Yeah, our thoughts go out to Shane Warne's family, Rodney Marsh's family, of course, as well. Right, listen, here's the beautiful thing about this world we live in. Sports brings us together. It's a comfort during a very difficult time. I'm so happy that Super Kev is back tonight with his positive energy, and he always inspires us to just keep going. And you know what? That's what we're going to do this evening. It's Kevin Says, and the Arsenal are back this weekend, so we can escape a little bit, watch our team, and hopefully enjoy a victory against Watford, who we beat 1-0 in November. Emile Smith-Rowe scored that very vital goal. They had a player sent off. We went through it last night with Josh, who sends his love to you, Kev, by the way. Also made a quip about the fact that you don't follow him on Twitter. And I'm like, maybe Kev's going to make you audition for that follow. Maybe you need to work a little bit harder at it.
Sophie, why do I need to follow him on Twitter for? When he comes on the show, I don't follow everybody who comes on. God.
Well, look, let's get stuck into this. Always filmed on Dickie Bow Thursday. Enjoy the polka dots. Here we go, everyone. Let's get stuck in.
Squaddies, let's get straight into it. So, squaddies, everybody in chat. I'm doing it first. No need to BRUK any necks. But let's go. Question number 1. Would you, squaddies, start Laka, Eddie and Pepe, considering the way we finished the last game against Wolves? Would you start those 3, especially? Question 1.
So, Super Kev, when you sent this question, I was like, this is going to get the chat box cooking. Good evening to all 200 plus of you in live chat right now, by the way, on a Friday night. Welcome. Super Kev, I like this formula as a backup, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, having a plan B, I feel like Arteta, we've been saying for so long, especially probably in the 8th and 8th first 2 seasons, what was his plan B? You know, and did he have the players to truly be able to execute a plan B, right? And you know, you've got me coming around to the fact that seeing what Benitez went through at Everton and Ancelotti went through at Everton and what Conte's going through at Tottenham, you've always been consistent about players.
It's
crossing
the players, Soph.
I'm going to make a new T-shirt.
It is. It's the players. Curtis tried to say he wants us to get out of it.
So
Stephen, it's the players, remember.
So even Carly Lloyd here, super captain, scored a hat-trick, 2-time Ballon d'Or winner, World Cup winner, Olympic champion, has come under fire for talking about, you know, culture and how the Americans women's team maybe lost the culture in the last 2 or 3 years. Their focus shifted a little bit more to endorsements and other things as opposed to... And she said on, you know, she was talking to Alexi Lalas and crossing the white lines and all of these things. And so the more I think about what you've said over the last year or so, you look at Arteta now and the players that he has, that he trusts, that he believes when they do cross those white lines, like you famously said, and other people have stolen what you've said, it matters more than ever that the Arsenal have a plan B for me. And so for me, I would keep things as they are, knowing that he can change the game the way he did against Wolves, Kev. So I'm going to let the I'm going to let everyone take over here. Shaitanya, Kevin Soph, are we seeing 4-3-3 formation now? I think that's his jam, isn't it now, Kev? The 4-3-3?
Yeah, it is. But if we're going to... Hey, Chaitanya, answer the question. Don't answer the question with a question, Chaitanya.
He says no.
Yeah, because here's the thing, you see, Sophie. We don't want it to get to the point where we have to be going to a plan B. We want the plan A to work.
Exactly.
So hence why, if Eddie, Laka, and Pepe played, that would be our plan A on the day. That's my point.
Yes.
Yeah. So
some bloke says Laka only. Scars, good evening, everyone. Super Kev moving aggressive. Got my neck support on. Stephen Richards, hey Stephen, a simple no. TT, Indian found a sport they're good at. It's last 3 days they get to walk around. Okay, not sure what you mean, but I'm sure you're going to come back to it. So Shaitana's doubled, tripled down. No, Laka only. Flawless Slays, 100% no way. Play your best players. They are not our best players. Question mark from Archangel on Eddie. No. Laka, Pepe, Martinelli, says Cliff. Hello, Cliff. Hugh, only Laka and Pepe. Eddie is only off the bench for me. Eddie ain't a starter, bro. Not Eddie. He's still got to earn it. Which, by the way, go on. Ugo Chukwu said, yes, I would. Ugo Chukwu, by the way, thank you for always coming in and saying hello and asking how we are. All of you guys are epic. Thank you so much for that. Kev, the Eddie thing is prominent because you raved about him after the game against Wolves in terms of how he came on and affected the game.
Remember, Pepe doesn't score without Eddie.
That's
Eddie's
what you said. Yeah.
And Eddie's not only the run, but the touch and the cutback. Pepe doesn't get to pirouette and score a fantastic goal. He doesn't score that. He's work tracking back as well as being busy in the box, occupying defenders. Very important for us.
Yeah.
But you know what, Soph? It actually opens up another question, which we might get one of your free
the extra bonus. Okay. All right. Rosalind says nope, good subs at the moment. Again, GB, another one questioning Eddie on that front. Let's see. VK says Saka needs a rest so Pepe can fill in for a game. We haven't played in a long time. I don't get this Saka rest. Kev, can you please explain this to me? We've talked about match fitness, resting versus playing. We're out the FA Cup. It's our own doing that we're not playing right now. But does Saka really need a rest right now? Last season, maybe.
Yeah, last season maybe because we had Europa League situation and there was a lot of games, a lot of travelling as well that could take out of you. But this season, I mean, the boys have been to Dubai, came back, played one game, had 3 weeks. Then they played another game, had 10 days. Then, we're playing again this weekend at the weekend. No, he's fine. Listen, don't make the excuses for Saka. He is just fine.
I agree with you on that one, Kev. Demsek, always in the house. No, I think I'd have that option to come on and change the game. That's where I'm at.
Just like you said.
Laka, and depending on fitness, Pepe, but Nketiah, no. Wow, Nketiah is really not popular. Easy no, says Dave. Liz says, schmooze the like button, folks. We love that one, Liz, who's down under.
Just schmooze.
Schmooze the like button. Would start Pepe, but not Eddie. Not Eddie. Whoa. Stephen Barton, 10 more wins needed. I'd start Emile Smith-Rowe, Laka and Saka as the front three, not Eddie. Question 1, I would go with the same players as last game. If it's not broke, don't fix it. No, but I would try that same 4-4-2 for the last 20 to 15 minutes to look good. Start Laka, not Eddie or Pepe. Taib getting in on the smooching. Of course. We're a little bit worried about Newman. He hasn't appeared for a couple of days, Kev, while you've been gone. Maybe it's because you weren't here, but
he's doing some art, and he likes to come and give me plenty. Then he likes it. So yeah, if it's some art.
It's dark arts for sure, knowing him. Mark, one of our bodyguards here, no chance of starting Eddie, needs to be performing regularly to get a starting place. No chance. Pepe from bench is still what I prefer and can be dangerous from the bench. Eddie too, but we all know he's not on Lacquer's level. Our regular, I'm telling you, Ethelston is he's not a Tottenham fan. He's a Gooner through and through. Paul says, play Emile Smith-Rowe, Lacazette and Saka. Right. So, Kev, I wanted to show you this too, because this was Josh's team last night, and he had, check this out real quick. He had Nuno starting, and he didn't have Smith-Rowe starting, and I think the reason why as well is because even though he's our top scorer in the league, Kev, he has just been sick. So who knows kind of the condition that he's in coming back. But just so you can see, this was his team last night.
And what was his reasoning for Tavares?
I think that because he was talking about how Tierney and Emile Smith-Rowe have played together. Nuno coming in. He thinks KT might be carrying a bit of a knock. So we've got 14 cup finals left. If Tierney is struggling with a little bit of something, why risk that? Play Nuno. And of course, with Martinelli playing ahead of him, he thought that could be quite potent. But it was more protecting Tierney on this occasion versus saying Tierney wasn't good enough to play.
So he's dropped him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well done, Josh. You could skate around the houses, mate. You just dropped him. Our future captain. Well done.
He was asked a few times last night if he's still selling Thomas Partey.
Yeah, and I noticed he's in the team as well.
And then when everyone saw his team selection, they're like, oh, so now he wants to sell Tierney. He had one of those nights.
Oh no, Josh. Go to the zoo, Josh.
Go to the zoo. Yusuf, good evening. Lots of love to Kenya this evening. No. Needed for impact, Eddie, Pepe not consistent enough. So I think the general answer on question number 1, Kev, is no. People would like Smith-Rowe back too. Am agrees with Kev. Arteta slowly selling players, average mentality culture. Can Super Kev do some star jumps? Just shut up, Tony. If ESR is well enough, ESR over Martinelli. Tony says he'd keep the usual starting lineup. What's up, Dr. DJ Dre? 4 cats army. Look at those cats. Laka, Saka, Pepe for me, Martinelli off the bench. Not Eddie. Big up the squaddies. So no Eddie, Kev, 100%. And everyone agrees about Emile Smith-Rowe, Laka, Saka in general. Time to profit from Pepe's end product. Rest Saka. 100%. No way. Play your best players. Hell no, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Martinelli. So you get the gist of things here, Super Kev. All right. Yeah. I will keep putting up your comments. Love the background. Looks like D-brand phone skin. It's a little confetti. Maybe we're dreaming of the confetti falling on us once again as Arsenal fans.
Sophie, and I thought it was the wrapping for the cake that I've got cooking.
Oh, you bad boy!
I thought it was that wrapping around the cake to be presented.
Do you know, Tony actually asked me the other day, she goes, for your pie, do you want apple? Do you want raspberry? Do you want pecan? Listen to you. She's ready to serve it up.
I love it. Love it, Tony. Love it.
Brilliant stuff. All right, let's get to question number 2. Keep those comments coming. I will put up as many as possible. 300 of you in live chat. Kiss that like button if you love that Super Kev is back tonight. Here we go.
Not it.
Question number 2. Should the Arsenal be more aggressive in the last 14 games of the season? Should they be more aggressive? Question number 2.
Okay, so aggressive game, go out, balls out.
How do you take it, so now that I've said it, how do you take it?
So when I heard your question, in my mind I was like, I loved the aggressiveness when we played Leicester. I loved the aggressiveness when we played Tottenham. I loved the aggressiveness in the first half when we played Manchester United. I love it when we start fearless, and I think we've proven that we can hold a lead. You know, chasing a lead is a little bit difficult for us. And I think against certain teams, for example, with, you know, the 2 Wolves games, the Brentford game, this Watford game, I've marked them down, Kev. You were like win, 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 win. Now, when the Liverpool game comes up next week, when the Chelsea game comes up, the West Ham game, not so much Manchester United this time. I think Arteta might handle that one a bit differently.
Those games are a lot more difficult to.
Yes. But against these teams in these moments, I say 100% go for it. Absolutely try and rip it to shreds and then batten down the hatches. So let's see what the kids in the dressing room say. Yeah. Let's stay with DJ Dre. Yes. What do we have to lose? Taib says absolutely. Am says yes. Kevin took a minute to turn them 2 fingers around. He was sending me. Magic Mike, he's not always trying to BRUK your neck, Magic.
2 Magic. Well, I didn't do that magic to go for the eyes.
Well done, SG. Well done. Okay. Here we go. Let's get some more down here. Doesn't like Tierney. Wanted party to... Yes, he's talking about Josh. Keep them coming, Tammy. Keep the eye on the ball. Kev's going to set some milestones right now. 100 likes. We've got 310 in chat, Kev. What's the next milestone?
We need 150 likes. All right. Come on. Let's grow.
All right, Tammy. You are our eyes and ears on the ground.
Come on. Grow as we go.
Anthony Chrysostomo. Γεια σου, Anthony μου, τι κάνεις? Ελπίζω καλά να είσαι. Yes, but no red cards, please, says Anthony. This is the kind of game, Kev, where we could get sucked into a bit more physicality. I was telling Josh this last night, right? Yes, of course, Wolves, every game in the Premier League is physical. You know that. You've played in it. But Watford, different type of physicality. We saw that. We had the red card in the November game. Roy Hodgson is going to play very differently and has been playing differently to Ranieri. He's going to take less risks. A lot of our squaddies last night were talking about how they're going to park the bus. So what Anthony's saying here, I think we've got to be really careful about not getting sucked in too much on the physical side.
Yeah, remember the way they played us at the Emirates, and I know it's a different manager, but they were putting themselves about a lot in that game. They still are of the mindset, Sophie, let's get stuck into this team.
Yes.
And let's see. And remember, we responded against them, and we should have beat them more than 1-0, to be honest with you. But, you know, it's difficult for them to park the bus. Here's the reason why. Because they're at home.
Yeah. And they're in trouble.
Difficult.
They're in trouble, Kev.
They need to go for it, Sophie.
Which is going to make them vulnerable, and I think our counter-attacking is going to be... So here's a question for you, because Gooner Vettel says the aggressive, we have enough red cards. Tony says yes, and Stephen's asking what a lot of people are asking, Kev, aggressive in tackling or attacking?
This is the great point. We've got to be aggressive full stop. Obviously, within reason, controlled aggression in tackling, etc. But the way we play, the way our mindset is, being able to go for the jugular of some of these teams, we've got to be aggressive. Because you know what? These next 2 games could really be big for us. Really big for us to get 6 points out of the next 2 games. I know we take 1 game at a time, beat Watford, and then we're dealing with Leicester. But
those are the 2
games,
though.
Important. These games are so important to get those 3 points. You stick another 6 points on us, who knows what's going to happen in that Manchester derby and all that kind of thing. You just never know. So we got to take the points. And
Super Kev, Watford haven't beaten us in the league since 2017. I can't remember if that was the Cajones game or whatever, the Cajones, the 2-1. And Leicester, we do very well against. We love a game against Leicester. Phoebe,
not at the Emirates, we don't.
At their place, we do.
Yeah, at their place the last couple of times.
Well, the last one was the VAR. That was the horror last second.
Last 2 years, they've done it.
Yeah.
So we owe them, just like Wolves.
Yeah, it's payback this season.
We owe this Leicester side.
Let's hear three fingers magic. So we paid back Brentford, we paid back Wolves, and now it's time to pay back Leicester at our gaff because we own them at theirs. How about them apples? Some bloke says no, controlled is working. Phoebe, hello Phoebe, how are you? If not now, then when? God, yes. I like that. The show on, people, you just need to refresh the screen, press control or delete. Terence, what are you talking about? We'll get more red cards. I think Kev doesn't mean like go tackling and kick people in the balls.
The aggression isn't to get too stuck in. The aggression is in our mindset, especially. But I'm going to get to that at the end. Okay.
All right, I'll read a whole bunch. Tammy says in some games, horses for courses. Ars says, I think we should play the same way we did against Wolves. Archangel he's asking again, is the aggression on more of the attacking? Absolutely super. Kev says, Mark, let's chase Chelsea down for third.
Tell it, Mark. Tell it.
Tony Adams style there from Mark.
Tell it.
Because we're still behind United in terms of points. Yeah, but I don't think we should be afraid of Man United. They're not that great. And we've got the games in hand. It's down to us. Yes, smash mouth football, says Mo. Q2, question 2, whatever it takes to win games. Flawless says, I don't see a lot wrong with our initial play, but would like to see aggressive subs. If we're down early, I'd like to see early changes or systems to get us back in the game. Well, he gave Pepe and Eddie 20 minutes. I don't like it when managers, for example, Kev, Tyrese being given 2 minutes to come on and change a game in the FA Cup. Come on, man. What the...
A waste of time, Sophie. It's a waste of time. And you know what? I think maybe because Palace scored so late, I think Palace scored in the 83rd minute, and then he's scrambling to change things up, but...
Nonsense.
Try and
go win the game. It's the FA Cup. Don't wait for them to like get one and then you
react.
He was playing for extra time and it didn't work out, did it? Kev, as a player, when you were in a game, were you like, make a sub? Come on, Gaffer, make a sub.
No, actually you're not, so because when you're in the game, you're so engrossed
you're not thinking
in the
about
game.
It.
You're so engrossed in the game, you've got your jobs to do, you know what you want to do offensively, and you know what you have to do defensively. So you're so engrossed in the game. It's up to the manager, and this is, I suppose, where the manager earns his corn. Mm-hmm. If he sees something where, do you know what? I have to change this because he might see one of their players getting tired. He might see a weakness in a chink in their armor. That's where you try and make a change.
Right.
So,
I get that.
Yeah.
Gunn says, yes, Kev, give them the aggressive BRUK da NEK style. Daniel, go for it always. Think attacking is the best form of defense. Keeping possession. We need that first goal. Yes, controlled aggression. No, stick to our plan. We're doing well. Strife says horses for courses. Don't risk anything silly. We already have a thin squad. Hugh says we should be more aggressive against smaller teams, against bigger sides. That's what I was saying, Hugh. Totally agree with you. You're not going to go all in when you play Liverpool, and we've shown that we could play with them against 10 men and get a point. But here we go.
But you still could be more aggressive with them, as opposed to the way you close them down, the way you break on them, the way you attack them. That's what I mean.
So do you mean
you still have? Of course, you still have to defend. You still have to do all your bit. The game doesn't change mentally, but the mindset is we're here to beat you. We're here to stop you. We're here to beat you.
So the pressing against Liverpool would be where we could be more aggressive. Like sometimes when you see us play that way, Kev. Don't give them time on the ball.
Do you know in the cup game, we went down to 10 men, and our mindset was pretty aggressive. We defended really well. The way we tracked back, obviously because we're a man light, we didn't have the opportunity really to go all out on attack. But we were raving about that performance. Why? Because we had that aggression about us to go and close people down, to not let them get shots in. And really the only shot second half was that Minamino effort that he put over the bar.
Yeah, and to be honest, we could have nicked it. Who was it who had the chance at the end? I can't remember, but we had an opportunity to like nick a goal in that game. And also, Kev, against Liverpool and Man City, where we've played really well this season, we just haven't allowed them that luxury they love of having time on the ball. And for me, that's the part of the aggression that you talk about. Sean says, should the players be more aggressive? Absolutely. Should Arteta be more aggressive? Not if it means tinkering with what is working. We can be our own worst enemy too much in that respect. Hey, boss, need to start on the front foot. No slow starts. Intensity and focus. Paul says, given the standard of refereeing, we can't afford to be more aggressive. Yeah, I don't think Kev means like get stuck in and get those tackles in.
Kick people,
controlled aggression. Controlled aggression. Aggressive when we have to be, pragmatic when necessary. Good point, Suraj. 5-2-3 in attack and 4-4-2 is defense. Controlled aggressiveness. What do you think about what VK says there, Kev? 5-2-3.
I don't get that, because if we got more people in defense than attack,
and 2 in the middle.
Yeah, we got 5 people in defense. That don't sound right to me.
Yeah. Kwabena says, aggressive how? We're already doing it more consistently on the offensive side. We are already aggressive. I agree with him on the defensive front, Kev. We are not afraid. This is the perfect example of controlled aggression, the way our defense plays. Our midfield sometimes might be getting carried away in the moment, but I think like Ben and Gabriel can be a little too much.
He's aggressive, but he has to play with that aggression. So he can't just play soft. No, he's got to battle.
Kev, you played with Wayne Rooney. He's an aggressive player. But I think in the manner in which you're thinking here, you know, every now and again he'd let it get away from him. Dennis Bergkamp was an aggressive player. Sometimes some people, he was, you know, he had some shithousery about him too, but there's aggressive play, and that is fearlessness in some ways, isn't it? Yeah. Wayne Rooney had that a lot.
That's why I asked you, so how do you interpret the aggression? That's why I wanted to hear the squaddies put down exactly how they thought, how they're thinking. I meant aggression, because obviously when I summarize at the end, I'll explain the different types of aggression, etc., etc. We don't want aggression. That's going to harm us. That's
correct. Adam says playing a front 5 for last 20 of Wolves, aggressive. Polymation, I have low expectations beating the teams above us, but we still have to try. This is what Kev's saying, and what we're talking about. What I said, Brentford, the 2 Wolves games, the Watford game, the Leicester game, go, go, go. Because there's games coming where we're going to have to measure. And this is where Arteta's going to earn his crust, isn't it, Kev?
Yeah, big time. Big time.
Oh,
setting the plan. Yeah.
Okay, so no red cards. Sissoko loser and Louser. I like to say it the other way. Cleverly in midfield 3. You know, yes. Oh, Tammy says you're up to 200 likes now. There's 400 in live chat, Kev. What would you like next?
250. Give us 250. Come on, people. Let's grow as we go. You know the script.
Woo! I love it.
Button.
All right, let's get to question.
Computer.
Let's get to question number 3. Positive starts. Yasul says Terence. Rohith says yes, of course, but we need to be more clinical. We have like 100 shots over the past 4 or 5 games. When Sophie talks like that, I get hungry, says Magic Mike. Is Sophie's pen magic? Yes, it is. By the way, this is my football prizes pen. And then this pen, by the way, you guys, this is my favorite. This is my Bentley pen, and it's got a Bentley grill on it. Look at that, eh? I can't own a Bentley, but I've got a Bentley pen. How about that? Soph and Kev, big up. Love the show. We love you too,
Thanks,
Earl.
Earl.
Right.
Thanks, Earl.
Got to get my grandma for the like. Suraj, get her involved. You did last time.
Grandma, bless grandma. Get her involved. We love her.
All right, here we go. We're going to put up question number 3. UG, where have you been? We've missed you. And yes, RIP to Shane Warne. He would want everyone raising their glass to him tonight. That's what his friends have been saying on TalkSport.
Big time.
Absolutely big time.
Yeah.
All right, Kev, should we get to question number 3? And then we will keep putting up the other comments. Here we go.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Bonus. Question number 3, squaddies. Does this young Arsenal side have anything to fear for the rest of the season? Do they have anything to fear? That's question 3. So I'll recap. Would you, squaddies, start Laka, Eddie and Pepe versus Watford? Would you? Number 2. Should the Arsenal be more aggressive in the next 14 games to the end of the season? I wonder what you guys are going to say. I really wonder. And last but not least, number 3, does this young Arsenal team have anything to fear until the end of the season? Anyway, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with each other. I'll check you all out in the chat. Look after yourself. Take good care. You know what, the Hybrid Squad, we love you, whether we see eye to eye or not. And if you don't see eye to eye, pop, I'm going to BRUK you up. Sophie, no shouting today, my darling. Look after yourself. Take good care. Keep those squaddies in check. Because you know, if they get out of check, what do we want? Samurai. I'm out.
Yeah, man. Bro, hit the like button. We need 250 squaddies. Come on.
Oh, brilliant stuff from Super Kev. Right. I mean, I could quote some Martin Luther King and, you know, a bit of Winston Churchill, some great leaders, Maya Angelou about fear. You know, fear is a debilitating thing, Kev, you know.
It is.
It really takes a stranglehold on people, and I think sometimes we're so set in our ways to have, you know, this stability around us and not take risks, but fear can infuse results, hope, you know, lots of different things. So let's get to let's get to the squad. They were coming in thick and fast, all 400 of you. Dennis Bergkamp was an aggressive swan. I like that, Kev.
Elegant. But
Elegant.
You up. Yeah, but he'll
Elegant.
BRUK you up.
Thanks for all your comments on the aggression. That was a really good question, Kev. It got everyone ticking. Right, let's see what else we got here. Let's get down to it. Hit it, kick it, kiss it. Yank the likes up. Taib's been very well behaved. No cards for him today. See how he behaves when Newman's not here.
Amazing,
it's amazing.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a little bit like, I don't know, Vinnie Jones on his own.
But we still,
Well, actually, no, yeah,
it still cause uproar, that one.
Tell me you love me, Sophie. I love you, Cuzzy. There you go. Sim Cuzzy, I love you. Yeah, got the pens. Not you, Bentley. Smash the likes up. Right, here we go. I think the aggression. Yep, there's so many comments, Kev. Let me get to the list. Next one. Oh, now they're talking about horse racing. In theory, they shouldn't, but pressure is mounted on a lot of these young players' shoulders. I should bring something up that happened on the Gooners podcast with your old teammate Smudger, Super Kev. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I have no idea what you're going to say, Sophie. Of course I don't. I'm not a mind reader.
Maybe I'll save it to the end. Let's keep these going.
Let's deal with it
In theory, they shouldn't put pressure. It's a learning curve for the majority of the team and the manager. I actually think the pressure's on now because we found ourselves in an improbable situation, and we do have a fan base that's going to ride with this and that's going to roll with this. So if we don't finish fourth, there's going to be a skies falling moment. Whereas I think a lot of sensible fans will be like, okay, if we finish fifth, it's not the end of the world for me personally, right? We are our own enemy. That Champions League place is for us to lose. So see, there is that. Gooner Vettel says nothing to fear. We've got arguably one of the best youngsters in Europe. And that's not even me being biased. Saka is the best right winger in the world behind Mo Salah. Woof. Big claim. Big claim.
He said in the league, not the world. But I like the way you spun that, Sophie. I've got to say, you tried to put noughts on his price. I love it.
Sorry, Gooner Vettel. I almost threw you under the bus there. Kev's lawyer mentality stepping.
I just love.
No, it's true. I move so fast because I'm controlling, the room and everything.
Exactly.
The only fear we have is the fear of our own complacency. Well said, Liz.
Right. Nice one, Liz.
No fear, just love. They're building something special as a team. Nice one, boss. Kev, the team have to have no fear. They need to go play every game as if they can win. Tony says, no, some bloke. I'd like to know who some bloke is. I think some fans will turn on the team. That's what I just said. Tammy, lack of goals. Dejan, I would start Pepe Martinelli. Okay, cool. They only have themselves to fear. Kev, can you talk me through that a little bit? Because you've been in different teams at different times. Mm-hmm. You've saved West Brom from relegation. You came in and saved Everton from relegation. You played in championship teams, cup-winning teams at the Arsenal. You played in a great Everton side as well, had a great partnership with Ferguson. You were in the trenches in an insane environment at Trabzonspor. You had an amazing partnership with Pierre van Hooijdonk at Forest. Can you talk us through, I know you're going to get into it at the end a little bit, but do you feel the fear from what's going on the outside, or does it really stem from within when you're playing?
Well, it depends. And this is, we had a really good conversation the other night about experience.
Yes.
And experience sometimes helps you get over those difficult moments. The difficult moments, because if you've been there before, Sophie, you know how to handle it. Sometimes the key is having more players who have been in those moments than not. Because the ones who have been there know how to cajole. You asked a question about, are the experienced players the key for us now? And I go back to it, yeah, they are. Because you know what? A lot of the youngsters haven't really played under this sort of pressure. They've played football, of course they have, Sophie. But you either make it your friend or it becomes your enemy. It really does. Mm-hmm. We want it to be our friend. This is why, Sophie, I asked question 2. I asked it the other way round. I asked about the aggression first. And to feel the fear and do it anyway, that's why your aggressive mindset has to be right. But I asked it the opposite way. So I asked about the aggression first, and then I asked about, does this team have anything to fear? Because I think it's really important for players. When I was in those different teams, different players felt different things. And let me tell you, it's a lot easier when you're at the top end of the league to deal with than the bottom end. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more pressure when you're trying to keep in the league, let me tell you. But again, you have to embrace it. And I truly believe these players, with the experienced players, we've seen the experienced players step up, which is good. We've seen our subs, especially Pepe, step up, which is good. We have to feel that fear and do it anyway, Sophie.
Kev, I saw more fear in the eyes of players like Mustafi and Sokratis and Kolasinac and even Ozil at times versus, you know, sometimes even us mere mortals who haven't played at the highest level. I was fearless in my 20s. I would say I was fearless in my 30s. When you get a little older, you don't feel as that invincibility factor, do you? Do you feel? I feel like the reason why Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe and Martinelli play the way they do is because they, exactly what you said, they have this fearlessness. They just want to go out and play football because it's just football to them right now. It's not about responsibility off the pitch, partnerships, endorsements, collaborations, all the stuff that comes with being a successful. Yeah.
All the noise on away from the pitch is just noise. It's all a blur. It's something that takes your eye off of the job. These youngsters, listen, I'm going to get into it very soon.
Okay, and you know what, Kev?
I'm impressed with them.
I'm going to pass it on to you in just a sec because then I'll keep putting on brilliant comments, by the way, tonight. You guys are smashing it. And Universal Greek makes a really good comment here because getting rid of those other players, that culture, that mentality, our squad doesn't have the mental scars of previous failures. This is a great point, right? This is when you can truly move on as a group and as a team. You've got El Neni and Xhaka in there still. You know, in terms of the old guard, Lacazette a little bit, you know, I'm not sure I'd throw Pepe into that mix, but there is something to be said about being part of a culture that did have that failure continually. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a really good point. Right. I'm going to keep putting your comments up, you guys, because the fear thing, a lot of people are saying, by the way, Newman's back in the house causing problems.
Newman is a bad influence. I saw that.
Such a terrible. Look, Demsek, Newman's finished train spotting and is in the house now. Brilliant. Kev, why don't you kick off with your first one? Fear is what everyone is saying that comes from within or not believing in the ability. You know, they shouldn't be fearful. They go back to the old arson years and stuff like that. So why don't we start with question number 1 from Super Kevin Campbell?
Would you start Laka, Eddie and Pepe versus Watford? My answer is no, I wouldn't. I would start the same team. And this is gonna lead on to a bonus at the end. I think the team performed okay against Wolves. I really did. I thought they played pretty well. Obviously needed the help of those guys to come on and change the game. But that's what you do with a squad. You utilize your squad, and when your players from the bench come on, you want them to make an impact. Yeah, we changed the system, etc. But how many times, Sophie, have we seen players come on and not make an impact? Mm-hmm. These players came on and made an impact. So I think that's great. I honestly believe Emil Smith-Rowe probably would have started that game, Soph, if it wasn't for his illness. Martinelli started, but we know Wolves play very tight. They play a 5 at times, make life a bit more difficult for your wide players because they're doubled up. And Martinelli didn't necessarily have a great game. Saka didn't have a great game either, but he stayed on. So I think maybe Smith-Rowe might come in into the side, or Martinelli will play on the left-hand side, either or. But that's going to be the bonus at the end, Soph. Who starts on the left? Is it Gabby or is it ESR? He's trained. He's going to be fine, ESR. So who would the squaddies have start? That's the bonus at the end. But no, I wouldn't start Laka, Eddie and Pepe. I would start Laka with those 2 players wide of him who can be so devastating.
Are you going to share? I think, Did you say who you would start? Would you start after he was sick with COVID and stuff? Would you start Emil Smith Rowe, Kev, or do you want to save that to see?
No, I would start Emil Smith Rowe. I think Emil Smith Rowe
he's earned it now.
To start. I think he deserves to start, but it's to the detriment of Martinelli. Unfortunately, Sophie, we've got decisions to make on our team now, and sometimes we want people to be left out and be like, "Get me on the pitch, I'll show." It makes a huge difference. So, if we can get Smith Rowe on the pitch, he's our top scorer. Great. He's in the purple patch. He's in the form of his life. Maybe Martinelli's time to sit down on the bench. Come on, maybe he plays against Leicester. You know, so it's one of them. We can afford to mix and match at times. But I think ESR, for me, the season that he's had, he deserves to start.
Yeah, there's a lot of ESRs to start. And of course, when you're top scorer in the team, in the league, it's very difficult to justify him being benched. You know, and we always talk about that, you know, when players play well. Now, I think Arteta's learned from his mistakes and he rewards them. He keeps the same team. For example, if Tommy was fit, he wouldn't necessarily come into the side this weekend. Cedric's been playing well. So yeah. Pepe won the game. He deserves a start. But Dejan, I think that maybe Pepe has another game like that off the bench. There's still, and then after this, there'll be still 13 games to go. You don't know with injuries. You don't know with a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be happening. So keep the same team, says Mo. Come on, Sophie. Pepe has to start on Sunday. I don't think so.
I don't think he does. I don't.
No, I don't either.
Think he does. Of course, he came on and done well. We're not saying he hasn't got the talent, but I think we need to see more of that attitude to come on and change things.
Totally.
You know, we've seen it in one game of late. Obviously, he was at AFCON. He came back, and at times he never even got on the pitch. But now he's come on the pitch and he's making a difference. We need to see more of it, and then he might get a start, I believe.
Definitely. All right, Kev, question number 2.
Should the Arsenal be more aggressive in the last 14 games, Sophie? 100% they should. They definitely should be more aggressive. Not aggressive to pick up red cards or suspensions, but against the opposition, we've got to want it more than them. That aggressiveness, mentally, the controlled aggression for 3 points. We've got to want it more than the opposition, Sophie. It's going to be so important we have that bullishness, that stubbornness, that aggression to go and get the 3 points. 1 point isn't enough for us anymore, Sophie. You know that, I know that. We need to go for it. So however the game is playing out, there's going to be times where, of course, we have to defend. But we defend with that toughness and aggression that we're going to defend properly and win the ball and we're going to break. The way we run, the way we attack, the way we run off the ball. Let's run aggressively. Let's run with a purpose. That control mindset is what we need.
Kevin, would you agree a little bit, and I'm not comparing the talent of the squads, but a little bit of the combination of your first question and your second question. Manchester United, Teddy Sheringham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they never started every game. Came off the bench, had a massive impact, right? Manchester City, you know, Jesus doesn't start every game, especially when Aguero was there.
Mahrez doesn't start.
Mahrez, they come off the bench or they start, you know, they have an impact. Arteta, I think, has definitely learned that part from Pep a little bit. But also when you look at successful teams in the league, you have to have that X factor. And I think those are the players that become super fearless and aggressive and can come on and impact a game.
I think those players, when they come off the bench, could actually take the aggression to another level. Because when people are getting tired, they come on. Because you know what? It lifts everybody when you see Eddie run back and make a tackle in midfield, win the ball. Next minute, You know, he's getting the ball over the top, cuts it back, Pepe puts it in. That lifts everybody. The fans have to be aggressive as well, Sophie, because it's not just the team. The fans have to be aggressive. The fans have to want it just as much as the players, if not more, if that can be the case. We've all got to want it so much. And you make a great point. Those boys coming off the bench are key. And you know what? It might be an SENE coming off the bench who we need to be aggressive in midfield to close people down. That's what we might need. We might be ahead and we've run out of a little bit of energy in one game. And we need that aggression to just see it through. You know, we know the balls are going to be up in the air. There's going to be different games, horses for courses, etc. But it's that mentality that we need. We need that aggression, not to kick people, but to, 1, get in people's faces, 2, to attack, 3, to be able to defend, 4, to be able to change it if we need to from the bench. And we've got to want it more than the opposition. So
absolutely. Magic, I think this is a stretch. You can't compare our team to the 2012 Barcelona team. That's a bit nuts.
Has he been on that hot water again?
All right, Kev. I hear you. Brilliant points, Super Kev. I love the question because there's a connectivity to it. You're right.
Yeah.
And it's brought up a lot of good.
And it goes to the last one, whereas does this young team have anything to fear? Now, do they have anything to fear? No, they don't, Sophie. A lot of these players have played against the Man Cities a couple of times. They've played against Liverpool. What is it? 3 times this season we've played Liverpool this season. 2 in the cup, 1 in the league already. The better teams we've played. Now we're coming into a stretch against a Watford. We know we can beat Watford, but what's there to fear? The fear we can fail. No, that's where the aggressive mindset comes in. That smartness, that toughness to win. Fear nothing. This team should fear nothing. They've got it all to gain, so it's there to gain. You could look at both sides of fear. You could look at fear, oh, we fail. And you could look at fear, but do it anyway and achieve. And that's what we have to do. Look fear in the eye and we've got to go and achieve. We want that and we're not going to be stopped. And I think we've got it. I think these youngsters have got it. I really do. And you know what? It will be such a big boost to these young players if we can see it through and get to the promised land this season. Because once they get there, they know they can do it. That's half the battle. But you need your brothers and the mentality all to be together, because just having talent is not enough. You need everybody working together. And you know what? There's going to be a couple of scrappy games somewhere, Sophie, that we're going to have to dig out. Someone's going to have to come up trumps like Wolves away, where Gabriel came up with the single goal, and then we see it out. We might need that in a couple of games moving forward. But whichever game appears, these young players should know how to handle themselves now, just because of that mindset.
And I think, Gabriel, Ben White, Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Tierney, they have that culture of player, that DNA, I think is, trickles down to those young players. I think Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe and Martinelli believe in their God-given talent, but they work hard to improve that talent. And then when you have Lacazette in the mix as well, I think there's this balance, Kev, that creates, and then you have a new young manager that is, every manager is arrogant and has an ego, but he channels it and clearly has channeled it in the right way now with this particular group. He wasn't able to do it in his first 2 seasons with the players that he had, but now he's able to get his message across that further enhances that confidence and that fearlessness.
Yeah, I second that. I truly believe, Sophie, this squad and the culture is what's put us in this position with the talent. Not the talent is put us in, it's that culture, that togetherness. And the fans can feel it. I can feel it when they play. You feel it. You know, when we beat Wolves, that was such a big result. Now, let's push on, boys. It's time. We've had a nice rest. We can game plan. We can watch video. We could plan everything. Now it's time for that aggressive mindset. Fear nothing. Go for it. Get them victories. Go and get them, because you're good enough.
Yeah. And Kev, you and I have talked about even our teams in the past, Manchester United teams, Manchester City, and more of the modern years, the latter, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Roger Federer. There's this fear they instill in others that make you feel like, wow, I've 50% lost. I've got this other 50% that I need to tap into. I mean, you've been part of those teams where you've stood in the tunnel and you're like, they're already done. They're already toast. And then maybe you've been on the other side when, you know, you're wearing that armband and you're trying to survive in the Premier League with West Brom.
I'm looking across and there's Patrick Vieira. You look down the line, there's Bergkamp, there's Henry, there's the Invincibles, basically. Sophie, you know, just to stay in the game, you have to be at the top of your game. For a lesser team, that's massive. For a lesser team, that is massive. So Arsenal going into this game against Watford, they know we play to anywhere near where we should, we take this team out. It's that simple. And that has to be the order of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because here's one for you, Sophie. Could you imagine how ESR and Saka feel where they're playing games and they're not 1 or 2 goals down like they were last season?
Yeah.
They're in the game all the time. You're always in the game, so you can be a hero now. Smith Rowe, you know, against Brentford, what did he do? He jinked between 2 players and put it in the game. He can be a hero. Saka puts it in the... Them boys could be heroes now, as opposed to having that panic of having to try and get us back into games like we were last season. So, again, there's going to be times where we're going to have to lean on that defense, Soph.
Sorry, I just have to get rid of the, little porny spam in the old chat. Thanks everyone for alerting me and letting me know. Suraj, 230 likes. Bring out Vinny. We got 420 in live chat. Tell them your milestone, Kev, because I'll give you an extra 5 minutes with Super Kevin Campbell right now.
We want 250. We want 250, guys, before we go. Remember, grow as we go. And remember what the bonus question was? Who would you play? Would you play Martinelli or Smith Rowe?
Yeah, let's get that one answering.
That's the bonus.
Sip is cool. I do agree. It's important. These are the points we need to get. There's no one point here. Cannot afford to get a point here. We've got to get 3. We've got to get 3. Taib doesn't want you to go, Super Kev. Matty K, yes, spam gone. By the way, Matty K, I match with your thumbnail right there.
Nah,
here we go, Kev. Look, 9 left. I think you underestimated the 250, Kev. I think you should up it. Saludin saying we only have 9 left to get there now.
All
right, next milestone. All right, okay.
Come on, and then we can always move it.
All right, so Gooner Vettel says Emil Smith Rowe goals. Emil Smith Rowe from SM. Niall says Emil Smith Rowe, Kev. Tony says Emil Smith Rowe. Here they come. Hey, boss. Spam's gone to Tesco. Well done. Martin, 3rd place is ours for the taking. I love how some fans are shooting for 3rd place now, Kev. Forget 4th place. Martinelli for Tammy. Smith Rowe for Mo. ESR is our biggest goal threat right now. Demsek, have you seen the interview with Ben and Rambo? I have not, but we'll make sure I do before we do the post-game show on Sunday. Martinelli only because I'm not convinced ESR has 90 minutes in his legs. Well, the fact that we can play both, I'm not adverse to that. Priscilla said she'd play Pepe.
Instead of both of them, Priscilla.
Yeah. So Saka would have to move to the other side, Kev?
Yeah, possibly.
In that instance?
Yeah.
Or the other way?
Yeah. Or they can alternate.
This is a must-win, says Faris. Emil Smith-Rowe has the finesse to break the lines. Why, thank you, Matty K. I do love this sweatshirt. Emil Smith-Rowe, says Mark. Bring on Martinelli for Laka if we're chasing. Olivier says Emil Smith-Rowe. Go on, Kev.
Mark, why would you bring him on for Laka when we probably going to need, if we're going for the win, we probably need two of them on?
Everyone wants to see this Martinelli down the middle thing, Kev.
I know.
And maybe if we're desperate in a moment, or God forbid Lacazette gets injured, then we
might have to see it a bit earlier than we thought.
Yeah. I'm sure that's a conversation within a conversation. I wish Laka is given a new contract because he motivates young players and he's a good leader. I know, but we've been down that road before, Oliani.
Can't see it. Oliani, I can't see it.
Emil Smith-Rowe for Xhaka against the Park the Bus team. What? No Xhaka? Kev will tell you one of our most important partnerships right now is Xhaka and Partey.
Yeah, the experience and their guile in midfield have been good. Listen, you know what I feel about Xhaka, but he's been good in midfield of late. And especially he's playing a little bit further forward at times. Yes. And passing the ball forward, so.
Yes. I am happy to see him not revert into that left-back position.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
A lot better. Smith-Rowe against a packed defence. His ability to unlock would give him the edge for me, but it's really close. Archangel says ESR is better from the bench. Troy says all Arteta has done is weaken the squad and win a few games against teams they should beat. He lost to Everton, Forest, Brentford. He needs to perform for the rest of the season. Wow, Troy, who took the halloumi out of your sandwich? Hey?
Hey, Troy, in Troy's mind, he's
yeah.
right.
You know what?
No problem.
I've been there, Troy. I've been on the criticism bus. My cake's baking, pie, whatever. I even had Lee Judges telling me. And I'm like, what? Wait, what's Lee Judges telling me about my humble pie baking? It's not exactly been exemplary.
Well. He's got one as well. Don't worry, he's got one as well.
Gianni Judges giving it some. Rambo isn't bothered about keeping a clean sheet. Oh, listen.
Just to win each
just
game.
Win.
He wants clean sheets. But if it's a win, it's a win. Winning is all important.
Emil Smith-Rowe over Martinelli. Martinelli scoring more consistently, says Paul. 256 now, Kev. We got 430 in the house.
Can we do 275 before we leave in the next 3 minutes? Can we?
We're coming for you. We're coming for you. Chelsea Football Club. We're coming
Sophie,
for you.
It is one. Do you reckon there might be a loss of wind in Chelsea's sails now that the ownership has changed or is changing?
It's got to have an impact on the environment, right, Kev? I mean, even I've worked for companies, friends, for example, 20th Century Fox. If you'd have told me 10 years ago that Disney would buy 20th Century Fox, I would have said, you're crazy and you should be
put me in a funny farm, right?
Absolutely. But it happened. Wow. And it affected everybody there. And it does. And I think that, look, the League Cup final was an incredible game. Both teams were in it. And I don't think that's why Chelsea lost. Chelsea just lost because you could question the manager's decision and missing chances. Mason Mount makes that, scores his 2 chances. Pulisic scores his. Who knows what happens. But, Kev, I mean, the pressure of fighting relegation like you have, the pressure of going for a championship and cups, albeit in a positive environment, even though you were down there with West Brom or Everton, it's not like you were surrounded in a bad environment. It's the team was on a bad run, right? There's a difference between the world looking at you in a certain way. I don't know what's your take on that, because we haven't really talked about it.
Yeah, listen, I just think it's a real difficult situation for clubs, because let me just tell you this about Everton. Everton, obviously, some of Usmanov's companies sponsored Everton, and they cut all ties with the clubs. With the club cut all ties with the companies, even if it's to the detriment financially. Yesterday, cut them dead. So that just goes to show you how much we say don't bring politics into football, but we can't keep away from it when it comes to something like what's going on in the world. We don't like to see it. It's bigger than football, isn't it? It's people dying. This is serious stuff. So obviously the sanctions that come in, and those guys, the big boys, so to speak, the billionaires, have all been part of what's going on as the bigger picture. So there's going to be certain teams who are going to suffer. So they've had the good. Sophie, Chelsea have had the good for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they've had it absolutely brilliant for 20 years.
With no question marks, Kev, with no questions from anyone. Yeah.
No question marks. He'll just lump in. Now, that's come to an end. You know, it could be the unraveling of Chelsea. Obviously, they hope it isn't. But, you know, Everton obviously weren't fully in bed with Usmanov. But his companies, they've had to obviously cut ties. So it's going to have an impact, definitely. But Chelsea's impact, I think, is going to be so serious because he was so prominent at the club.
He was. He really was. And he's forgiving basically they owe him 2 billion, right? And he's forgiving that, and he's putting, and whatever comes in, he's going to give it to the Ukrainian people, which is the least he could do. But at the same time, you've got, by the way, Kev, we had our debate, remember, on the Cronkies, and we talked about Usmanov. And then, you know, we're talking about the board, and they backed Kroenke, not Usmanov. And now you look back, hindsight 2020, Kev, about the whys, and as much as we complain, Kroenke's not squeaky clean either. He's done some bad things. They all have.
All of them, yeah.
But how we dodged that bullet. What would Arsenal be? What would we be talking about today on our show?
We'd probably be talking about we need a new owner.
Right.
You know?
And I know a lot of people think we need a new owner. But
you know, it'll be forced, as opposed to we need a new owner, so-called people are saying, because he's not investing. No, we need a new owner because of the politics, what's going on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the Ukraine. That's why we're going to need a new owner. It's tough. It's going to be tough.
Do you think there'll be more policing now, Kev, of who comes in and buys clubs in the Premier League? A lot of the squaddies the other night were talking about how it's an opportunity to reset and stuff. And some people are upset with, I think it's Amanda Staveley's comments about how it's unfair, and on Abramovich, and obviously looking at why she's saying that because of who her bosses are.
So here's one thing. For all these years, Abramovich has done his thing at Chelsea. He's not been an embarrassment to football or anything. In fact, he's moved the goalposts, hasn't he, to a level at Chelsea that, you know, Chelsea would have never got to if it weren't for his billions. But obviously, when things like this happen, it's easy to point the finger. And I'm not saying Abramovich is up to in his neck. You know, listen, I don't know. But because he is Russian and what's happening, he gets caught in the crosshairs. He has to. He can't get away from it. So is it the possibility of a reset? So that's why I think maybe Amanda Staveley said it's not fair on him, because he's been a custodian and an owner of Chelsea for a long time.
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, is it fair? I'm not saying it's like in terms of how Usmanov's been treated versus Abramovich. Is he getting to sell his assets quickly in a fire sale first versus kind of what they put on Usmanov? And then at the same time as well, Kev, it's like if we looked at brands and how they make money across the world, we'd be shutting a lot of businesses down. I mean,
would we be questioning their sponsorship? Do you want to be sponsored by them?
Right, exactly. And look how long it's taken, and we've questioned, and people rightly so over the years, from the Nikes to FIFA or UEFA being promoted by Gazprom and everything. I mean, it's like, come on now. It's a good time for us to really look at what happens in the world, how money comes to be, in the sense that who do you associate yourself with? Where do you accept the money from? I mean, look, we're about to go into a year where we're all going to be cheering for our national teams in the World Cup, and corruption in terms of how Qatar got the World Cup, Kev. Why isn't there more? Yeah, why haven't we stopped that from happening? I just wish that we would go all in on everything, It's a very difficult subject to talk about.
It is. And look, I know we've gone way over, and the squaddies are getting a bit more. So are you getting to, what is it? What are we on now?
I think we were at 285. Let me know, Tammy and Taib, what number we're on.
What we're on. So
right now.
Let's get to the round number. And here's the other thing, Sophie, when we discuss stuff like this. You look at countries, you look at FIFA, you look at all of these things that happen. Look at the new format of the Champions League.
Money grab.
Sophie, it is a Super League.
Correct. It's conditioning us.
It is a Super League. And I remember putting out that those clubs who went for the Super League wanted the format change in the Champions League so they can play more games, go into a league and earn more. Look now, the format has changed.
Diluting the product to make more money and build us to that point where we then be like, oh, well, isn't this what
it was always
we were doing anyway? Yeah, exactly. Yep. Selective rage. Well said, Cliff. Yeah. It's all ugly, and that's the part that we love the beautiful game. We're fans. We love the beautiful game. Kev's played in the beautiful game. He came from a time where it was a little bit different, and then evolved into the modern time of where really money came into it, right, Kev?
Money. Yeah.
I was talking to Danny about maybe. He's going to do a little show for us. But the old Division 1, when you look back on it, there was an innocence to it, Kev. I know it wasn't, there was still stuff going on. You know what I mean?
Big time, Big time. And you know what? Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should do a nostalgia game, few nostalgia games, and go back.
Totally.
And look at clips and footage a little bit, and speak about it. That would be interesting.
Totally. I kind of miss those days where I was scared as well because I'm claustrophobic a little bit, but when you're standing and then all of a sudden you're like, what? Wait,
you're like, over there. Yeah.
Totally. What's this from Moot? Sky's falling from Sophie. I heard the biggest rant the other day when things are going pretty well from Sophie about how much we sell players. Moots. Who took the jam out of your donut today? When was I ranting? I don't think I've ranted at all this week. But I will check myself before I wreck myself. We need 2 more to get to 300. Well said. Big up the legend Super Kev.
Nice one, Snake Eyes. 2 more and then
we're out.
I think you've had a great are you on? What are you on next, Soph?
Actually, I just got a note because of everything that's going on with Shane Warne. We're going to push it to next week. I was going to be doing the Talk Sports Bar, but of course.
That takes priority.
Yeah,
Shane
absolutely.
Warne fair enough, yeah.
Let's see. We do have, Kev, next week. We are, let's see. We are going to be, we're going to be recording a show with the Arsenal Vision guys, with Clive and Elliot. So you guys can look forward to that. On March 15th, we have Rebecca Lowe coming into the studio. We're trying to schedule some time with Robbie Earl and a few other people as well. Well reported, Liz. Boom! We did it.
Wicked. 300. Love that. Love that. Squaddies, love it. Absolutely love it.
I would love to get O'Hara on this show, but he avoids me. He's never accepted. So yeah, never accepted at all. So we've got some great guests coming up. I love that we have an extended show today, a little bit radio style. Super Kev, we've missed him for 2 days, so having him back, there's a lot to catch up on and discuss.
Obviously. I missed you all, obviously, but you know, when it comes to a little bit of graft, a little bit of work, and to see Boreham Wood, I think it was a really good spectacle last night. You know, you got to take the work when it comes.
Definitely.
Cool. Yeah.
SM said as well, he remembers your goals like they were yesterday, Kev. I bet you do too.
I do. I always remember. And you know what? One thing that really makes me so proud was, you know, sometimes out the blue, people on Twitter just put a random game on.
I love that.
And it's not necessarily whether I score or whatever. It's just a random game, an old school game. And you watch it and I just smile so
good.
I just smile all day because it's brilliant. Love it.
So good. Brilliant stuff. Well, look, we will be back. Are you working Sunday, Kev?
Were you?
Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah. I know that sometimes you get some laughs.
I'm working with you.
Well, look, we're going to be back Sunday after the match to talk about hopefully our victory over Watford. And then after our match, the Highbury squad will stay on air for a little bit, and Magic Mike will do a little bit of an open mic with some of you fans as well. So you can look forward to that. So tune into the Highbury squad. As always, we're going to be doing a lot of different things and bits and bobs, some exciting shows coming up in the near future. Kev?
Yes.
Not only does Jags win, but his kids won Best Costume on World Book Day. And I just wanted to share it with everyone.
Listen, the families are winners, man. I'm telling you, any competition. Hey, Jags, hey, do my lottery this week, will you?
I mean, seriously. I've asked him to pick our lottery numbers. Aren't they adorable? World Book Day. And by the way, if you do have kids, my cousin, MC Grammar, I don't know if you've heard of him. He does a lot of great stuff. He's created this formula where he raps to get kids to read. And he's super talented, and he will be coming on soon as part of our Talented Gooners show. He is a Gooner. He was at number 10 the other day, yesterday, Kev. He went to a bunch of schools in and around London, and the kids were dressing up as him, and they were rapping and reading, and just a really positive figure in the community and stuff like that. A really cool guy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we're going to leave you with this one. It's the new auction, Kev. What?
All right.
It's the first for Benjamin White, and it's a signed boot. Hello.
Debut. Yeah,
bomb.
Debut. Jags, don't enter. Let's give someone else a chance, Jags.
And Matty K and everyone's already saying congratulations, Jags.
Yes.
Go to Football Prizes, get your ticket. Unfortunately, our ticket winner did not win. Alison, you had answered the question right. I put you in the pot, but unfortunately you did not win. We'll go again next week and we will see who can win. So don't forget, we'll be back Sunday. Until then, that's all I've got. You got Benjamin White Football Prizes. Well done to Jags Kids. And Super Kev, just great to have you back. This is what I did this morning. You know, went down, got a little bit of the old sky, bit of the water. You know, in these times, it's good to breathe in. You know what I mean?
Is that a cloud I can see? Is that one? No, I can't even see a cloud. It's beautiful. Well done. You listen. You make the most of it.
Yeah,
tell you, beautiful,
definitely.
Beautiful.
Take us out, Super Kev.
Okay, look, squaddies. Great to be back. Good to be back with the hostess with the mostest, Sophie. You know how brilliant she is and how hard she works. Josh, go to the zoo. Squaddies, I love you. We love you. We thank you for joining us all these times, and it means a lot. We're going to see you on Sunday, hopefully. 3 points. We need that mindset. Get 3 points, and let's have a good chat about the game. All the best, Squaddies. Lots of love. We're out at ease, Squaddies.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.